Did nobody ask? Did nobody check him for no steroid? I said, he had quick hands. He would hit. I said, why y'all ain't checking for steroid? He ain't checking steroid. And then
you think he was on steroids?
Of course he was on steroids.
What we don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroid.
Way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol.
Evander Holyfield has stirred major controversy ahead of the Canelo Alvarez versus Terence Crawford fight, openly suggesting that Canelo may be using steroids. His bold claim has sparked heated debate and fueled speculation throughout the boxing world.
Mexican boxing fights of all time, in my opinion. Yeah. So I feel like I'm 100% confident in myself. If Canelo was 100% confident in himself, I don't know why he wouldn't fight me. Especially since, seeing that everybody in his team is on steroids, which means including him, so he never got off.
You think he's on steroids?
Of course. Sure. How does
You saw De La Hoya
how do five people out of your camp get tested positive for steroids? Right. All those fucking dudes in that camp are dirty.
Yeah.
Holyfield hasn't directly accused Canelo of steroid use, but he has long pushed for tougher punishments for fighters who fail drug tests. Back in 2018, after Canelo tested positive for clenbuterol, Holyfield said athletes caught using banned substances should face jail time, even suggesting a 30-day sentence.
Alvarez failed a drug test before his big Triple G fight in May, and he's blaming Mexican cows. All right, here's the deal. 2 months until the rematch with Gennady Golovkin on May 5th is going to be the big fight, and he's been taking drug tests leading up to the fight, standard operating procedure. This time he popped for a substance called clenbuterol, which is a banned substance. As a matter of fact, it helps you cut weight. A lot of people use it illegally to cut weight while maintaining muscle mass. He is saying he did not cheat. He's not a cheater. I did not intentionally take clenbuterol. Problem is, I've been training in Mexico and eating contaminated cow beef. That's what he's saying. There's a problem apparently in Mexico where some of the cattle are being injected with clenbuterol, which helps cows. It's illegal in the United States, but some places outside the United States, even some places in the United States, will use clenbuterol to grow bigger cows, to up the protein content in the meat. And he's saying that what he had was contaminated meat because his training center is in Mexico and there's a problem with Mexican meat down there. He even issued a statement saying, quote, "I'm an athlete who respects the sport and this surprises me and bothers me because it had never happened to me. I will submit to all the tests that require me to clarify this embarrassing situation, and I trust in the end the truth will prevail." So far, the fight with Gennady Golovkin is still on. He's still dead set on making that fight.
Floyd Mayweather has blasted the boxing world for what he sees as a double standard in handling steroid use, especially in Canelo Alvarez's case. He says some fighters are heavily criticized, while stars like Canelo get a pass because of their fame and market value. Mayweather argues this favoritism damages boxing's credibility and lets certain fighters avoid real consequences. He stresses that using PEDs is not only cheating but also dangerous, putting both fighters' health and the sport's integrity at risk.
We don't talk about is, Canelo. Steroids. They don't talk about that. So we don't know. We really don't know all the fighters he beat. He could have been not clean in a lot of fights. Canelo, and the list goes on and on about athletes that's been cheating.
Been accused of cheating or been proven?
No, been proven too.
This been proven.
Yeah. Oh, Canelo. Oh shit.
This been proven.
Lance Armstrong.
Okay. And then Canelo talking about it was the steak that it was the meat that he was eating. So okay, now you eating. I guess you're eating steroid cows. Man, these boys kill.
David Benavidez has recently accused Canelo Alvarez and his entire team of using steroids. He questioned why Canelo would dodge a fight with him if he was truly confident, pointing to the multiple positive drug tests linked to Canelo's camp. Benavidez's remarks have fueled their already heated rivalry, with him openly labeling Canelo's team as dirty over repeated failed tests.
The greatest Canelo came out, the one that you guys seen that fought Triple G the first time. Bro, dude popped dirty for clenbuterol, bro. Why do you think the second fight didn't happen? So, for me, seeing that was the best Canelo I've ever seen. But that was Canelo off of steroids. Everybody else that he fought Amir Khan, he fought Daniel Jacobs, he fought, what the f is his name, Billy Joe Saunders, Caleb Plant. These guys are all weak, bro. So for me, that's why I feel like I see Canelo Alvarez and I see like, he's not as good as everybody thinks. Because the best one that fought Golovkin that first time was off clenbuterol. That was the best Canelo I've ever seen, and that's why he looked so good, because he was off clenbuterol. So with the Canelo, he even got suspended for like 7 months.
So it's guaranteed he was
guaranteed he took it. He said that he ate meat that was tainted in Mexico.
Now let me ask you that question.
I've talked to people. They said for him to test positive off a piece of meat, he would have had to eat.
Eddie Reynoso's gym has come under heavy criticism after multiple fighters under his coaching were linked to doping allegations. Canelo Alvarez, one of Reynoso's most high-profile trainees, has also faced past steroid controversies. Several athletes from the camp have tested positive for banned substances, leading critics to question the gym's training practices and oversight. Now, with Canelo set to face Terence Crawford, his swift physical transformation is drawing even closer scrutiny.
Serious accusations about his gym. And the accusations are that people, or at least the implications are, that he is the one that is providing performance-enhancing drugs or is in some way responsible for the performance-enhancing drugs that are being used by fighters that fought in his gym. Specifically, off the top of my head, you have Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez had popped for clenbuterol 2 times. For Fahim Satur, I'll say that he did it 2 times, even though I think it was for the same fight. But Canelo Alvarez popped dirty for clenbuterol 2 times. You have Luis Nery, who had tested positive, but I think Luis Nery tested positive before he was with Eddie Reynoso. Then you have Ryan Garcia, who popped dirty after he left Eddie Reynoso and went over to Derek James. And then you have Oscar Valdez. Oscar Valdez popped dirty while he was with Eddie Reynoso, but at the time he was still allowed to fight. You also clearly see that you have an issue with the fight that's coming up with Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, in that you have one guy that tested positive and you have another guy that looks like he's using in order to get up and continue to climb up weight classes. You know, at a certain point in time, and this is something that Rolly Romero has said, a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do that. At a certain point in time, your body just doesn't do it. I'm 6'2", 200, and should weigh about 210. Closer to 250, but I should weigh about 210. I'm not gonna get up. If I was 210 now at 50 years old.
Many boxing experts point out that adding significant muscle naturally in your 30s is no easy feat yet. Canelo Alvarez's recent bulked-up appearance has sparked debate, with some questioning how genuine those gains are. The suspicion is fueled by the doping history linked to his trainer Eddie Reynoso's gym, where several fighters have previously tested positive for banned substances. This track record has led to ongoing doubts about the camp's methods and overall training environment.
For a 30-year-old, right? You remember, your body grows, men's body can grow in height and length up until to the extreme in your 20s. By the time you're 20, your height and all that stuff is there, right? Your height and your length. In your mid-20s, you know, by the time you're 29, your musculature is pretty much there. It gets harder to gain and put on muscle after 30.
On a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, Rogan weighed in on the controversy surrounding Canelo Alvarez. He pointed to Alvarez's past positive test for clenbuterol and the ongoing debates over his physique and performance. Rogan stressed the importance of transparency and the responsibility athletes have to protect the sport's integrity. His comments have only added to the speculation as Alvarez gets ready to face Terence Crawford. Many boxing fans say they aren't surprised by the latest doping allegations, noting Canelo's history with performance-enhancing drugs, including a suspension for clenbuterol, and seeing the accusations as in line with past issues.
What up, everybody? It's your boy MC from MCTV. I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo Alvarez is on steroids right now as we speak and is going to be fully juiced with something that hasn't even hit the market yet. Think about it. He's pretty much a billionaire. He has access to everything.
Well, I don't know. Did nobody switch up on me a lot, but so it's hard for me to say. But I know life is about adjustment. You have to make adjustment. To be successful, adjustment is always going to be the difference between how far you gonna go.
And this is the last one because I just thought of something. Obviously, Fury Usyk, a lot of people are talking about for undisputed. You know, you were a smaller guy, and you almost beat. A lot of people thought you beat Nikolai Valuev, who's even taller. Even taller than Tyson Fury. How does a small guy Usyk defeat a tall guy like Tyson Fury?
Second of all, I'm just happy for him and the team. So, you know, the world can see once again why he considered the best pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
There was many a time where he was maybe struggling to get certain fights, and then he had to almost kick that door down. Is it nice to see him sort of getting the fruits of his labour now and getting that generational wealth off the back of what is, obviously it's a hard career boxing, you don't get given anything.
Definitely good to see him get, like you say, fruits of his wealth. Give me fights that, again, will show the world why he's the best fighter in the world. Show the world why he's the best fighter in the world. Just, you know, I'm just happy for him.